The AMD Combat Crate. It's AMD's latest attempt, and I would arguably say a little bit late, to produce something that helps gamers get graphics cards and keep miners away. But, first of all, I'm going to be critiquing this a little bit. First of all, I think it is a good idea, and it is something I've kind of said in the past a good bit, but it is quite a bit late. Graphics card prices have already, seen an all-time high and are actually on the decline in prices, which I know may not seem like it to most people, but instead of having to pay something like $1,000 for a 1060, you only have to pay around $300 to $350. So, I mean, with all due respect, that was pretty much around where it was before we kind of had this major spike over the last couple months. So let's ask the question. Let's take a look at what this combat crate is from AMD. Let's talk about what exactly they're trying to get here, and of course I'm going to also critique a bunch of problems that I personally don't see that are fixed. And I mean, I've always been one of those people that are trying to, when I critique something, I try to put solutions out. Because I mean, it's one thing to be someone that sits around and complains all day, but I really think that it's kind of essential that you actually put something out there, a suggestion or some alternate way to do something, instead of just saying, "Hey, you're not doing things right, and I don't have a solution for you." So let's talk about it. So the Combat Crate is a combination of a CPU, GPU, and motherboard, which, looking at it from the standpoint of if you're building a new system, is a great deal. You can get a GPU for pretty much what you'd be looking for. You can get it for a relatively cheap price, and you'll have, of course, everything, the bare bones for a computer. Now, obviously, sometimes people don't want to get just bare bones. They want to actually have something that's higher end. And when you want to do something like that, it really does get in the situation of, hi, I'd like to just get really high-end components, which, depending on where this Combat Crate ends up, or the options for it, we may actually see something across the board, which would be nice to see something like a Vega 64 or 56, somewhere along the lines where consumers can purchase it, along with the Ryzen 2nd Gen processor and a nice motherboard. Now, of course, knowing that, depending on who they're trying to cater to, it really will depend. And obviously, if you're trying to get something like high-end in this crate package, you're probably going to be willing to spend a little bit extra money to get some of the separate parts, which is why I don't think that we'll be seeing too much of a high-end situation in these combat crates, which a weird name for saying them, or a weird name for them, I would definitely say. But the other problem with it is if someone wants to upgrade, it really does kind of put a bad situation in the fact that, I feel like it's a bad situation because, if you're wanting to upgrade, you want to upgrade your graphics card, you're really stuck in a bad situation that, you still have to pay the full blunt price and there's no, suggestions. And here's the part where I put in my personal suggestion, my personal 2 cents on what I would actually change in this or have as another option. I personally would have the ability to upgrade your CPU and GPU for a lower price than it would be separately, or somewhere around the, lower price if you were to get the graphics card. Maybe get the graphics card MSRP along with the CPU at MSRP, only available to those people that are upgrading both of those. Or maybe upgrading, maybe their motherboard, upgrading RAM or something. Offer something that allows the graphics card with another product, which is kind of what AMD is going to do there as well, and allow for people to actually save money and still offer that kind of buying a bundle rather than just upgrading a single thing and paying MSRP. Yes, you do have to pay a good bit of money, but someone that's sitting around with a, 1600 or Ryzen 7 or Ryzen 5 1600 and wanting to upgrade their GPU a little bit higher, I really could see that they could just, if they want to upgrade the CPU to like an 1800X or a 1700X or a 1700, get those extra 4 processing threads, then you would have the ability to upgrade your GPU, especially if you didn't spend a lot of money in the first place, and upgrade your GPU and your CPU at the same time. As of Ryzen 2, I do think there's going to be a lot of issues. Just looking at it from the standpoint of the older motherboard compatibility, people are going to buy it assuming that you can just pop the CPU in it, like an X370 motherboard, when the matter is you need to have a different CPU to update BIOS and do all that stuff, which I'll be keeping my CPU and not upgrading to the newest generation simply because there's not really any performance gains. It's tremendous performance gains for me. I like my 1800X and it's overclocked nicely, so I'm fine with that. It does everything I need for my rendering and editing and stuff. But I feel like that would be a good solution out there, and I feel like you know, that's one of the biggest issues with it. There's also the issue of that some way some miner is going to find some way to exploit it. And I mean, that's with anything in the world, is that when you get something at lower price than you could elsewise, there's a money incentive, and of course people are going to go for it. But you know, looking at it from the standpoint, if you're sitting here and you're probably watching this video and wanting to know if like the graphics cards are going to come down, things like that, to be honest with you, we're really going to have to see. Right now it's kind of on a decline, and with Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin in particular, sorry, Bitcoin is the one that comes to mind off the top of my head, cryptocurrency in general, which the large list that it can be, you've got a lot of fluctuations that really affect graphics cards at any time. And yes, right now it's on a decline, but you know, who's to say in a month or so that we have something that's triple the price of what it was, I don't know, 2 months ago when we had like $1,000 1060s. So looking at it from that standpoint, just keep in mind that things fluctuate. I would not really be expecting, I mean, buy when you find something low, and of course, you know, do that. As for the next series of graphics cards from NVIDIA, I don't think we'll see anything from AMD this year, and NVIDIA will probably be coming out next year or at the end of this year, around Christmas time, I feel like. So we'll have to see. But graphics card prices probably, according to NVIDIA, don't expect to come down until next year, which would mean that I've already made a video on this, so I suggest you watch it if you're interested, but we won't be really seeing tremendous graphics card prices coming down. But this is a good option for those that are interested in getting something directly from AMD, a solution to the graphics card prices, at least from those high-end cards. And honestly, you know, the statement that came out just recently about AMD owning 53% of the graphics cards that gamers game on came out, and I was a little surprised at that. But when they sit down and explain why it is, it's basically because of a lot of consoles and stuff. But the reason why I make that point is just because, you know, that's, everybody says, well, oh, it's AMD, they're not really that popular, and just keep in mind that most of the consoles, a good majority of them, run on AMD graphics cards. So I mean, you know, everybody thinks NVIDIA is the number one out there, and the reason why I got mine was for a different reason. I was looking for VRAM for video editing, but I mean, obviously at the time the Vega 56 hadn't came out, or the 64, or any of those, so I mean, that's also why I chose this one as the highest end card at the time, at least for the semi-high end. But anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, give it a thumbs up. Comment section is always available if you're interested down there. And of course, be ready to have some budget PCs all this next week. I'm looking forward to this. We're going to be doing have a little bit of fun with that. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Of course, you did. Give it a thumbs up.